Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Advancement Center, and welcome to Hypersonic Magic, to a magical life that's beyond everything that we can sometimes sense in this physical reality. Happy day after 4th of July here in America. We had a great evening with our Advancement Center family. So welcome to them being here, joining us. My beautiful mom, my brother Adrian, my sister Kathleen, and the usual regulars with Barbara and Robert and Genya. And to those that couldn't be here today but are on their way, Mickey, Tim, and Margilicious, who raises the flag from another state to be a part of our family. So I'm going to share a few things, and first is this song to my creator and to each one of you and to humanity, my friend. Love is where this begins. Thank you for letting me in. I never had to pretend. You've always known who I am. And I know my life is better because you're a part of it. I know without you by my side that I would be different. Thank you for all of your trust. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for holding my hand. You've always known where I stand, 'cause I feel my life is better, and so is the world we're living in. I'm thankful for the time I've spent with my best friend. Thank you for calling me out. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for breaking it down. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you for all you're about. And thank you for lifting me up. Thank you for keeping me grounded. And thank you for being here now. Now I know my life is better because you're a part of it. Yes, I know without you by my side that I would be different. Yes, I feel my life is better, and so is the world we're living in. I'm thankful for the time I've spent with my best friend. You're my best friend. You're my best friend. Yes, you're my best friend. Now these words, remember and know, there's nothing to do but remember and know. You put on forgetfulness, the program installed to make you feel separate, to make you feel small. The program is in all parts of life, the operating system for the game that can cause strife. Remember and know remember and know there's nothing to do but remember and know. And the words from this song, do you remember the time when we came to earth? Do you remember the time when we first left? Do you remember the time when we came to earth? Do you remember the time? Those sweet memories are always dear to me. And yes, there's nothing that will change the way I felt and feel about our connections. So remember the time when we came to earth. Do you remember the time that we first left? Do you remember the time that we came to earth? Do you remember the time on the beach, on a ship, in the stars, you and me, in the universe, in the galaxy? Do you remember? Do you? Do you? Do you remember the time? This is called a trillion years. This human life is a massive experience, but it's like a grain of sand on the beach when compared to the infinite expandedness of an eternal existence created by an infinite creator. Trillions of years, just to throw out a number for reference, when we remember that there really is no time, but trillions of years of civilizations, galaxies, universes, expanded empty spaces that are not empty, births of stars, which can be suns, coalescing of matter, which can become planets, solar systems, and then a place called Earth with a being that has your name, that in recent times, through many manipulations, according to statistics, lives an average of between 78 and 85 years. We were meant to live much longer. We cannot see the forest for the trees because our face is pressed up against the glass of the life of being a human, completely forgetting that we are the one who sits behind the one you see in the mirror, trillions of years old. Not many can live in that perspective because the focus of being a human is so intense, constantly pushing us into reaction and then action over and over again until maybe you come up for a breath when you close your eyes at night and rest your head on your pillow. And then when you wake up and open your eyes, it starts again. Reaction and action, reaction and action. This is not a problem as long as you remember your true birth age of a trillion and that you've done this before and that it is just a game, a place you signed up to come to experience something or expand a part of your infinite being. But it is very hard to remember that when someone speaks ill of you or cuts you off in traffic or you're running late for work or to infinity and beyond. There's a place where reaction and action are replaced with laughter and smiles. If you can just simply remember that you are a trillion years old. All reaction and the action that is brought on from this game of life will leave. I often tell new tennis students that they're like one of those young racehorses that they put blinders on to keep them from seeing horses next to them and keep them from running out of their lane and disturbing the horses on the other side of them. I say to them, with the blinders on, all you see is the ball and your mistakes or successes, your reactions and your actions as you become full of stress and anxiety. But soon, if you continue to play, the blinders will come off and you'll say, oh, wow, I never noticed that tree at the back of the court. Was it there all the time? And wow, that sky is beautiful. Hold that thought while I hit this forehand. Okay, where was I? Oh, yeah, that sky. How beautiful. And I never noticed that my opponent was out of position. Now I clearly see that the court is wide open. What a great game this is. This is the lightness of feeling that will come upon you when you remember that you've done this all before. Not once, not twice, but trillions of times. Now take a deep breath and remember. Now begin to notice the tree and the sky in your game of life. Notice the other beings that are all around, both here, visiting this physical realm, and in the outer reaches. For your view has just become expanded, and you can clearly see that someone left their court open. But now there's no reaction and action, just observation and communication with your creator. And with all that, suffering ends. You know and can do way more than you can imagine. 1,000,000,000 years in the existence of never being born and never having died. So smile and have a laugh as you return to the awareness of an eternal, infinite spiritual being who happens to be at this moment living within a human form on a planet called Earth. Now the blinders are completely off and you are starting to tap into and feel the power that is within your being. It is endless and self-generating, and it is constantly charging itself through the unequivocal and unquestioned knowing of itself. To remember is to pick up the power cord, and to know is to plug it into the outlet, which is the source of all power. So even though we just celebrated America's birthday, I say happy trillionth birthday to everyone, everywhere. May you come to the full awareness of knowing who you are, where all suffering will end. Cheers to everyone. Now, who wants a piece of cake? This is called There's More Here Than Meets the Eye. With everything in existence, there must be balance. Balance within the opposites. Balance between light and dark, male and female, hot and cold, and even love and hate. Without the opposite, the other can't exist, and without the other, there can be no balance. Without balance, the one would become an extreme and would lack reference, and therefore wisdom, clarity, and wholeness, as well as an all-encompassing view that in some cases can be shocking, rendering one's current awareness and reality as illusory. In the case of naivete and innocence, we must bring forth the balance with the sobering reality of a truth. Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha, was a prince raised in a palace in luxury and opulence. His every need was attended to, and he was being trained to one day be king. He was educated by the wisest teachers in the kingdom, a kingdom that encompassed thousands of miles, with lands and subjects maintained and controlled by a powerful military of the finest soldiers. Siddhartha was also being trained to be a great warrior as well. He had a special friend, and they would play together and pretend fight. In Siddhartha's mind and awareness, this was how every person in the kingdom lived. Everyone around him was beautiful, young, well-fed, and healthy, always wearing the finest clothing and always happy. At some point, he knew he was going to succeed his father as king, and he was okay with that, for he saw that everyone in the kingdom was happy and perfect, and that there really wasn't, upon watching his father's rule, much to do. He did not realize that his father and his mother and the royal court had decided to never let him see any suffering. This was because an ascetic priest had said upon seeing Siddhartha as a baby that he would become the Buddha, and he would not replace his father as the king. The king then tried to keep Siddhartha from seeing anything in the outside world to prevent him from wanting to leave. As the people who lived and worked in the palace would get older, they would be sent out of the palace and replaced by someone younger and more handsome or beautiful. Siddhartha was never allowed to see death or decay in any kind, and for that not to happen, he would never be allowed to go outside the palace walls. Until one day, as he was now happily married and with child of his own, the king would let him go outside the gates, but orchestrating the route that he would take. It would be during that trip that Siddhartha accidentally saw an old man who was looking as though he was nearing death, laying in the arms of an older woman. This caused Siddhartha to see everything differently and started him on his path of becoming the Buddha, the enlightened one. He knew opulence, and now he knew suffering. His naivete and innocence was shattered as he was exposed to another reality that had always existed right in front of him, but just out of sight through manipulation and control. Siddhartha went on to become the Buddha and discovered the path to overcoming suffering. He saw it as finding the middle way, balance, the balance between opulence and the ascetic, the one who would renounce all material things. This was the path he chose after he saw the truth of the existence of another reality that he didn't think existed. He could have also chosen to do nothing, but once he knew the truth, he would no longer be a contributor to the lie of the existence of just one reality. The Truman Show movie is a modern-day portrayal of this story, as the truth of life was hidden from him so that he could be an actor in a show watched by millions. He finally awoke to the inconsistencies in his life, and the truth could no longer be hidden, as he figured out that something was off within his life. He then saw the existence of the other reality and chose to walk away from the one reality that did not include them all. So today I want to share with you a reality that has always been present. It is the reality of the extent of the extraterrestrial beings that have been influencing humanity for years and years. It is also a revealing of the wars that have always existed between extraterrestrial civilizations and the ones that are currently happening as we speak. It is the other reality that exists along with this physical reality, happening right in front of our eyes, but hidden by the manipulation and control of those that don't want you to know. Most have been aware of this since the 1920s, and it became even more obvious in the 1940s when the Roswell incident was discovered and then covered up. But in the 1980s, then President Ronald Reagan spoke about the existence of aliens and the ability to shoot them down when they enter our airspace. He initiated the SDI program, the Strategic Defense Initiative. It was said to be developed as a space-based missile defense program that could protect the country from large-scale nuclear attack, but in fact, it was for stopping extraterrestrial craft from entering our airspace using powerful laser weapons. Interestingly enough, it was also known as Star Wars. The technology that was used to create those weapons of deterrence were so far ahead of where we are at present. So the technology that we think is so new now is at least 40 years behind, and probably more like 100 years behind. Wow, I just had a deja vu when I wrote those words. President Reagan had experienced a personal sighting of a UFO when he was governor of California and on a flight within that state. When he became president, his staff had to keep him from going public with his experience for fear of appearing like he was crazy. When he became president, one of the main things he was looking forward to was the briefing on UFOs. And when he received that, he got to know more of what was here on Earth. Like Siddhartha, it is time to know the existence of this other reality and see the illusion of the one reality that is being portrayed to humanity. It is as manipulative, as controlling, and as controlling as a blockbuster movie coming to a theater near you. New computer and phone technology, rocket launches, and the grand development, design, and releasing of AI. It is all a fabrication. It has all existed for hundreds of years and beyond and leaked out slowly to give the appearance of a linear timeline of advancement in technology. Siddhartha and Truman saw the other side and therefore saw the true reality. From there, they could introduce balance, for you cannot bring balance if you do not know the two extremes. From that place, it is up to you to choose to do something or say something about it. But once again, you will no longer be a contributor to the imbalance of what truly exists. So simply by knowing, you are actually doing something. These wars have always been happening in space. It was a war over 450,000 years ago that created a fleeing of extraterrestrial beings from the Sirius and Orion parts of space. These wars brought the Anunnaki to the planet and influenced the trajectory of humankind. There's much more of this story to talk about. Even now, there are wars on Venus between some of the negative Anunnaki gray from the Orion constellation trying to gain control over the planet Venus, which is a planet of great spiritual energy. There are many forces within the Galactic Federation under the auspices of the Council of Galaxies that are always working to prevent these things from happening. Many in the so-called spiritual world are aware of these things, and each one, as they are called upon, are delivering this message to humanity. And when it is delivered, it is always because it is the right time for it to be delivered. For everything is working in concert, and the picture is far bigger than most can even begin to understand. But know that I am one of those who has chosen to deliver this message, mainly because it is time for humanity to wake up to the reality of what has always been true. It matters not if you can believe these words with your brain or mind, because there is something within your spirit, within your being, that will, without a doubt, confirm to you that what I am saying is true. It is with this awareness within that you now have the opportunity to make a choice for what you will do next. But most importantly, there now exists within you the balance between being naive and innocent and knowing it all. You, as an eternal spiritual being, will begin to come to the place where you will know that what you know inside yourself is true and has always been true, even though you may not have any proof of its validity. I am not here from here, and neither are you. I come here with lightheartedness, mischief, and love, but I also come here with an immense power, power that you have never seen before. I am beyond all limitations of matter and time. And very soon, in the very near future, you will see that what I am saying is true. So look up to the sky with a new awareness. Look down into the earth with a new awareness. And mostly look into yourself with a brand new awareness. For now you have discovered what Sid Arthur and Truman discovered, and with what they were shown and what they then discovered about themselves, they became the enlightened one. This is the destiny of all sentient life. Maybe this moment is the beginning of the fulfillment of yours. Cheers to us all. There's more here than meets the eye, and within everything, there lies balance. Happy trillionth birthday. Let everything come to you that is designed to come to you, and know that there is more there than meets the eye. Thank you for joining me. Wishing you, with every piece of awareness that lives inside of you, a perfect life with perfect health and a magic future. I am David.